What's going on, guys? I'm Bill and welcome to Bill's How To. Today we're going to be doing an unboxing and review of Milwaukee's M18 Switch Tank Backpack Sprayer. Let's do this. Alright guys, so what we've got is Milwaukee's M18 Switch Tank Backpack Sprayer. This here is the code in case you live in Australia or New Zealand. For whatever reason, they've got different model numbers in different countries. So if you live in a different country, it's more than likely this one right here. So what we've got is a 15-litre backpack sprayer, which is 4 gallons. So the most important thing about this one here is it comes in 2 pieces. We've got the backpack sprayer and we've got the powered base. So the powered base is this bottom section here, which comes with the harness, and then the actual tank itself, which comes from its name, Switch Tank. You can actually switch the tanks over from one chemical to another, and that's pretty much my main reason why I've bought this one here. Not only is it cordless, so we're able to run the M18 battery range, so I can take my batteries off my drill, my saw, my vacuum, and put it straight onto this unit here. Not only that, but I can also switch the tanks over. Now I plan on using this one here for chemicals. So obviously this one here is the green color coded one. They come in different color codes, which I'll get into in a second. This one here is designed for chemicals. So I'll be using this one here for herbicides and pesticides. I'm gonna have 2 different tanks running 2 different chemicals, and that eliminates me having to wash out the tanks and making sure that that's cleaned thoroughly before I actually switch over in chemicals. I'm permanently gonna leave specific chemicals in the certain tanks so I can just switch over tanks rather than having to wash everything out. So let's have a quick look at the back here. We'll switch this over. It's got the main features on the back. Like I said, it comes in 2 different pieces. So we've got the power base, which comes with the harness, and then the actual tank itself comes with the tank, the hose, the wand, and also it's got the pump in the tank. Most people won't realize just how important that is to have the pump separately. If you've got a pressure washer or you've got another backpack sprayer, anything that runs on a motor and water, you'll more than likely realize that anytime you've had problems with your unit, it comes from the pump itself. So one of the most important things they've done here is kept the motor and the pump separate. So that means if I'm out of warranty with this unit and something does go wrong, more than likely it's going to be coming from the pump and I can just replace that tank. The tank itself costs about $199. This whole unit with the power base and the tank cost me $399. So the base here is pretty much the same price as the tank itself. So what I plan to do is have a few different tanks. That way I can run a few different chemicals straight through that. If we have a look down here, they're color coded. So the green one is your chemicals. So that's what I've got here. It's a chemical sprayer. The other one is a concrete sprayer, and we've also got the water supply. Water supply is going to be pretty handy. I'm actually going to consider buying this one here as well. Not only can you use this when you don't have access to water, so you can run your wet saw, your concrete saw, anything straight off this one here. You can also use it as a tap, which I plan on taking this one here on my camping trips as well. So this one is going to be a pretty good addition to what I've got now. We've got 5 modes, which means we can adjust the PSI anywhere from 20 to 120 PSI. And the most important thing, which is after the fact that this is cordless, switch tank, the third most important thing, which I'm going to be testing as well, is the distance that we can spray at. So it says here we can spray 7.6 meters. Like I said, I'm going to be using this one here for herbicides and pesticides. Using pesticides means I want to be able to get this up on a double-story building. So on a 2-story house, I want to make sure I can get up on those windows, up on the top story, and also on the eaves. So I'll be testing this out to see just how well I can spray the distance with this one here. It claims it's got a 25-foot spray distance, so we'll test it out. I'm not sure if that includes a person's height or not, and I'll show you guys what I mean in a second. So if you take your height off the ground and then you've got your arm spraying out, is it actually from the nozzle to where you're spraying, or is it from the ground to where you're spraying? So we're going to test this out either way. We've got here the isolated pump, which I said was a very important feature. So that eliminates cross-contamination. It's got a dual diaphragm as well for longer pump life. Not too sure how really that well is going to that's going to go. That's going to be a long-term test. But like I said, one of the most important things, they've also upgraded the seals here, which is really important because I plan on keeping the chemicals in the tank itself. I won't be taking it out, so I might have chemicals sitting in this tank for a week, 2 weeks before I've actually had it cycle through. So hopefully those seals will last up. But like I said, that's also going to be a long-term testing. Let's open it up and see what comes inside. So let's open this one here up and see what we've got inside, guys. I've been waiting a very long time for this one here to show up. We've got our little instruction manual, which I might actually keep for this one here, any kind of troubleshooting. For some reason, Australia seems to be a little bit delayed in getting most of the Milwaukee products. So I know a lot of guys overseas have already got these products in store a long time ago. However, we've only just got these about 2 weeks ago. Top might have something in there. We've got a bit more paperwork. I'll just open this up, make sure there's nothing left up in the top. Nothing in there. A little bit more paperwork. And there's our tank, guys. Literally a tank, and we've got our wand. So that's pretty much all that's in the box. Let's take this packaging here off. It's actually a bit bigger than I was expecting. The harness goes up nice and high, which is a good thing. It comes on your back. Another important thing I need to test, and so many people, I've watched a lot of these reviews online. Before I buy things, I also do my research as well. Nobody's actually tested to see if these chemicals leak out of the tank. I've got another one in the garage that I've been using for a long time. It does leak though, and that's the biggest concern I've got. If I'm running pesticides, any kind of chemical on my back, I need to make sure this does not leak. So I'll be testing it out, shaking it, flipping it upside down, make sure none of this stuff leaks out of the actual tank itself. So let's have a quick look what we've got. The other one that I've got, I think I paid probably about $120, something like that, really cheap. Bought it on eBay. I'm surprised it's actually lasted this long. It's been about 2 years now. The straps are horrendous, to be honest. These ones here are nice and wide, so we'll test it out, see how comfortable it is. So we've got here the wand attachment. I'm also interested to see the trigger. This has to be really comfortable. Not bad. I was actually expecting it to be a lot worse than this. It's also got a trigger lock on there. Just got to figure out how to use it. So we've got a trigger lock on there in case we want to prevent that from actually being used, which is a pretty good thing. Would have been nice have they got a lock on there. Perfect. So we're able to keep that pesticide running or the herbicide running, whatever work that you're doing around the house. A lot of people are going to take advantage of this. I know a lot of people that use pumps on their ATV have to run it to kind of battery packs, anything like that, running around the farm on your lawnmower. This is going to save a lot of people so much grief. I really want to see how well this handles in terms of using it on my camping trips as well. So the hose is surprisingly pretty thick. It's got a dual layer coating on there, which I'm not too sure why. I'd assume that if you rub this along the edge of a concrete wall or on the ground or anything like that, you've got a dual layer on there protecting it. So I can feel that inside. We've got a thin plastic layer on the outside, and then it's a bit thicker on the inside. So this handle is surprisingly pretty nice. I'm going to put on the wand as well and see how that attaches. But let's have a look at the actual tank itself. Got a latch on the front. Might have one on the back as well, and that tank simply comes off. So the tank itself is nice and light, feels pretty heavy duty, thick material. We've got here the pump on the bottom. You can see that just locks in on top of the motor, and that's the latch points on top as well. So you'll notice that it's also got 2 hooks on top here. Probably better if I keep it in the camera angle. But anyway, so we've got 2 on top of here that lock onto the backpack, so that'll stop it from rocking around as well. So let's have a look. We'll open this one here up. I don't even know how to open it yet. Assuming you just turn it. There we go, nice and tight. So those seals on the top is what actually sealed that tightness on there. We've got a fan nozzle that came with it. I'm pretty sure it comes with a adjustable cone nozzle as well, but we'll find out in a second. So the fan spray is one of the ones that I'll be using. Made out of plastic. Would have been nice if they had a brass one in there. Plastic ones are fairly cheap. We've also got a little filter here to make sure no debris gets in there, and then we can see the actual pump on the inside. So not sure if you guys can see there. You can see the pump on the bottom of that, and that's completely enclosed. So let's pack this one here up. So if we lock on the top first, and then I can put those latches in. Latches are actually pretty tight to clamp down, which is a good thing. That means they're going to stay nice and sturdy. Nice click there. We'll see where the battery gets plugged in from, so I'm assuming somewhere along here. And there we have it. It's got actually a decent amount of room. We should be able to get those 12 amp hour batteries nice and easy in here. I'll double check the runtime, but from what I read online, most of the specs that I read were on the 3 amp battery, because this kit you can buy it with a 3 amp battery. So I think that battery runs something like 18 tanks. I'll double check and let you guys know. I'll be always running 5 amp. I keep most of my batteries as 5 amp batteries. So I think we'll get a fair bit of runtime out of this. Definitely very impressed with the runtime. So we'll test this all out. Let's see how this one here handles. Actually, before we do that, I'm not too sure where I can put this on. Let's put it on. We'll get this wand on first. There we go, that's what I was looking for. So if we have a look here, the adjustable spray tip, hopefully that'll focus in time. So the adjustable spray tip here that we've got is actually a brass one. So I'm not too sure why they've given us a plastic one as the fan spray, which is pretty cheap alternative. These ones here are actually pretty expensive. So the brass heads, you're looking probably around $30 for a replacement nozzle tip like this one here. So it would have been nice if I got a brass one as well, but it is what it is. Most of the times I will be using this one here. However, for internal use, I will be using the fan spray. So we'll put this one here on and see how well it all fits. So you can see we've got 2 O-rings on here. Doesn't like to focus, does it? So we've got 2 O-rings on here to make sure that that is leak proof. Let's see how easy this one here goes on. It's actually got a nice fit. So once we pop that first ring in, the first O-ring doesn't have any contact. The second one, you can see that's got a nice contact point there. Screw this on. And there we have it, guys. It's actually got a decent amount of stretch on there, longer than my arm, so that's probably about 800 there. Yeah, probably about 800. I'll measure it up later and we'll see how we go. One of the things I wish they did have was a bent shaft on there. Straight shaft obviously is good for if you're pointing at something, but anytime that you're doing any kind of perimeter work or trying to get up onto any kind of eaves or anything like that, you want to try and have that angled off a little bit. So I might actually get a spare wand for this one here so that I can do that, different applications with it. But all in all, it's actually very nice and comfortable. It feels very durable. The steel is nice and solid. Definitely won't be able to bend that, which is a good thing. I'm sure there's a position for it here to sit somewhere, but I'm not too sure where. There we go. So we've got a little clip on the side, so we're able to pop that nozzle straight down in the bottom base here and clip this in. Nice click too. You gotta love those tight clicks. So let's test out this backpack sprayer. So in terms of the actual straps itself, we've got a waist strap, shoulder strap, and a sternum strap. Now the cheapy one that I've been using, it's only got just pretty much the shoulder strap. As you guys can imagine, this one here carries 15 litres of fluid, which is about 4 gallons. So once you fill that up, plus the weight of this weight here, I think is probably around 7 pounds, I think it was. Where's the weight? 7.6 kilos. So we're looking probably around 14, 15 pounds, just dry weight alone. Once we put on that fluid, it is going to be decent amount of weight on there. So the straps is something that you want to have nice and comfortable and a few extra anchoring points. This one here is pretty wide, so it should be good. Would have been nice if it was a bit thicker, like the backpacks that I've been using, the job site and also the pack out. This one is pretty thin, to be honest, but it's nice and wide, so hopefully that'll distribute some of that weight. Let's see how we go. That is actually really comfortable. So that nice thick padding here just distributes that weight nicely. We've got the sternum strap on the front. Make sure that you keep yourself upright, nice and comfortable, and we've also got the waist strap as well. So pretty interesting that it's got a waist strap on here. That's going to make things a lot better. Anytime you're moving around, the wand might hit you in the head, but as long as the tank doesn't topple over, because once you've got that weight on there, I'm sure a lot of people that use backpack sprayers will agree with me. If you've got a lot of weight on there, if you dropped your keys on the ground and went to go pick it up, you'll probably fall over with the backpack sprayer. So I'm pretty happy with it so far. Nice and comfortable, solid, nice professional build on here. I need to do something with this. It's going to hit me in the head every time. So let's fill it up and see just how well it works. So we've got this one here filled up, ready to go. Little battery compartment. And you can see there just how much room there is. So I'm using my 5 amp battery. And on the side here, you'll see the on and off switch. So we'll switch this one here on, and then we've got our adjustable 5 modes for different PSI. I like how it's got a nice little light there. So we'll test it out. Let's just leave it on low. So on the lowest mode, basically does nothing. Next one up, comes a little bit quicker, almost like a sprinkler. Next one, And you can hear the motor, it's pretty quiet. Once again. So that's got a decent amount of stretch. We'll run the tape measure and see how far we're getting. So we've put here about 8 meters out of tape. Start the nozzle right at the start and we'll see how far we can go. Let's go have a look. Four meter mark, still nice and wet. 5.5, nice and wet. 6, 7. We're starting to just get little bits of splatters now around the 7.5 meter mark. Funny enough, it only just made it past the 7.5 mark. A couple little splatters, but the majority of it is probably around the 7 meter mark. That's pretty much where the bulk of it stopped. So while the motor's on and been running, nothing's been leaking underneath. Nice and dry. We'll give it a bit of a shake. Check it again. Still nice and dry. Let's see if we topple this over a bit. So that fluid's completely filled up and above the cap. Not too bad. Alright guys, so I've been playing around with this for a while now and I'm very impressed with it. The build is very heavy duty and solid. You can hear just how thick and durable that plastic is. On the bottom or the base of this is also plastic. I wish it had a rubber coating on there because it is a bit heavy. If I did put it down with a bit too much force, I'd like for something to absorb some of that impact. The ergonomics, very nice on the wand. I did shake the tank around and put it on its side as well. No issues when it came to leakage. The maximum distance we're going to get is 7 meters of full spray. Then we had a bit of splatters after that. So 7 meters is very efficient, especially when you consider this will be on your back. So that means you've got the height from the ground up until your shoulders and then the extension of your arm as well as that 7 meters. So very good for me. I'll be able to get up on those double-story buildings, no problems. Also, if we have a look, there's a handle on the back here, which I didn't realize. Part of the backrest. The backrest is super comfortable. I put that on my back and it distributes the weight nicely, especially with the side waist straps as well. If you have a look at the amount of noise this unit makes, it's extremely quiet. I'll turn this up onto the maximum, which is on mode number 5, and you can listen to the motor. You can hear the motor, but it's not excessively loud. If I turn that down just one mode on mode number 4, super quiet. The water and the motor run at the same decibels, so it's very quiet and user-friendly. That way you won't make too much noise, but I'm really happy with the way everything's been running so far. Also, if we have a look at the base here, something else that I realized is that you've got a drain port. So if we take this, if we wanted to drain the contents, you don't have to remove the upper lid and pull that over on its side. You've got a little drain port here on the side as well, so we can drain it out from the bottom, which is also really handy to have. So overall guys, I'm very happy with this. If you've got any questions or concerns, put them in the comment section below. I'll try my best to address them. If not, I'll do a follow-up video and try and address them at that point. Guys, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. As always, like, comment and subscribe. Until next time, I'm Bill. Thanks for watching Billshowto.